Hey Falcon fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome to Atlanta Falcons Today. We're going to get into some breaking news here in just 1 second as Deion Jones out for the offseason. A little bit of a shoulder cleanup, according to reports. We'll get into that here, as well as some OTA winners and losers, as we'll talk about later on today's video. First, this video is a great example why you should be subscribed to our channel. We're talking about daily Falcon coverage that's 100% free and covers all the breaking news. I mean, literally the Deion Jones stuff happened 2 minutes ago. D-Led from the AJC just tweeted it out, and we're covering it here on the channel, so a big reason why you guys should go ahead and put down below and subscribe. All right, jump into the latest Falcons news and rumors. As I mentioned in a video earlier this week, OTAs have officially begun. They began a couple of days ago on May 24th, and the way that OTAs work, you get 10 practices over the course of a month, so they're practicing a couple days this week, and then they get a break, and then a couple days next week, and then they get a break, and so 10 practices total over the course of the month. Now, no pads, no hitting. It's like a watered-down training camp, so you're not going to see any sort of, craziness out there, but they are allowed to do 7-on-7s with no pads, 11-on-11s with no pads. It's like rookie minicamp, but the rookies now get to play with the big boys, and the big boys, vice versa, get to play with the rookies. And so it's a good time, and there's a lot going on there, and that leads us directly into this tweet now from D-Led at the AJC, saying that breaking news, as just a couple of minutes ago, you see on your screen, Deion Jones is out for the remainder of the offseason. Now, he would later tweet, unpictured here, that Jones had some offseason shoulder surgery, and so he is officially out for the next couple of months. Now, he will play in 2022. The problem is that I'm sniffing kind of a little bit of a red flag here. Now, let me explain. Deion Jones was due a bunch of money, or is due a bunch of money post June 1. He's going to get the remainder of his, final year of his deal, and he's basically locked into that last year of his contract, obviously later on this offseason. If Atlanta were to cut him after June 1st, they'd save $14 million against the cap, and so many people, including myself, expected they were going to cut or trade him after June 1st, meaning that he would no longer be an Atlanta Falcon. However, now that this injury has popped up, Jones might have played his last game for the Falcons. He's just going to be able to get out of, potentially forcing a trade a little bit earlier. Now, will a team want to trade for him? Is he killing his trade value overall? Is he hoping to be cut the way he can sign with anybody? I smell not foul play, but it just feels a little bit like, he's gone. Deion Jones is going to be done. Again, you're just joining us. Obviously, you're going to have a little bit of the shoulder surgery, is what he said, cleaning some things up, but he is officially out for the foreseeable future, at least for OTAs, potentially in a training camp, and that tells me Atlanta likely to cut him after June 1, or if they can find a trade partner, go ahead and trade him. Now, we're going to jump into some OTA winners and losers, and you bet that there are some big-time winners who will benefit from Deion Jones' injury, as rough as that sounds for Jones. There are a lot of winners, a lot of losers. We'll get into those here in just 1 second. First, add break, pin comment down below. Which position group are you most excited to watch at OTAs, or really just overall this offseason? Is it the linebacker core? Is it the cornerbacks? Is it the wide receivers? Is it the quarterbacks? Which position group are you most excited to see? Let me know down below right now. Let's jump into our winners and losers here. Obviously, with the Deion Jones injury, big OTA winner is Troy Andersen. Not only has he looked really good at rookie minicamp and at OTAs, he's now in line to be kind of your starting middle linebacker. I mean, look at this depth chart as it stands right now. Michael Walker obviously mixes in as well. Big-time competition there, just at the linebacker spot. But in terms of direct replacements for Deion Jones, Troy Andersen was drafted to do just that. I mean, he was literally taken to be the Deion Jones replacement, which is why I think Deion Jones is kind of wanting to get out of there right now, because he understands Anderson's going to make him look bad because Jones has, lost a step, getting a little bit older, and Troy is really, a great player. Without Jones, Andersen is a clear winner so far during OTAs, and he's going to have his ups and downs, and he's not going to waltz in there and be Brian Urlacher week 1, but I do think he wins the job. I do think he's trending towards that. He's looked good so far, really good in rookie minicamps, incredible in terms of overall size. People are raving about his size, and I obviously think with the Jones news, he's a big-time winner. And the next winner is Jaylinn Hawkins. I think Jaylinn Hawkins is in line for a starting job at safety. There's still some players to navigate around. Richie Grant, as we'll talk about in a second, but I think Hawkins is looking to have a really good offseason and is probably going to be a starter when we get to week 1. My big question right now is Richie Grant a bust or not? If Grant's a bust, then Hawkins is very clearly going to be a starter. Now, if he is not a bust and he actually is able to get on the football field and play safety like he was drafted to be, then maybe Hawkins has a little bit harder of a job or harder of a time going ahead and taking one of those starting safety spots. But I know there are veterans in front of him. I think Hawkins is setting up to have a really good good offseason. A lot of flashes last year, kind of like Michael Walker. A lot of flashes at times, but I think it's time to see these guys actually play legitimate snaps and legitimate starting roles. And if Richie Grant continues to struggle, then I definitely think Hawkins takes advantage of that. Now, there are a couple of players from previous drafts who I think need to step up this offseason. Answer this question down below. Who needs to step up more? Is it Richie Grant or Marlon Davidson? Type G down below for Grant or type D down below for Davidson. Okay, now before we go ahead and get into some more winners and losers, I need your help sharing this video. I want you guys to share this video if you guys are pumped about where the Falcons are going in this offseason. Very simple. All you do is follow these steps. You click the share button, which you see on your screen right now, or I should say a little bit below, whether you're on your computer or on your phone. Share button, select the Twitter icon, and then go ahead and add me, or tag me, at Real Thomas Mott, use the hashtag RiseUp, and then tweet this video, trying to share it with the community. I will retweet everybody who shares this video. Everybody who shares this video, I will retweet on Twitter. So go down below, click share, select the Twitter icon, tag me at Real Thomas Mott, use the hashtag RiseUp, and then click tweet. It's just that simple, and I will retweet all of them, trying to get more awareness to the channel and more awareness to videos like this. We need your help. If you guys like what the channel does, help us out by sharing the video. All right, let's go ahead and get to another winner here. It's the running back who they took in the later rounds of the NFL draft, Tyler Allgeier. I think Allgeier is going to be, I think he might be the starter come week one. Like they're going to go running back by committee. And obviously, Cordell Patterson is on your depth chart. He's going to get a lot of touches, as he always kind of mixes in at receiver and running back. But I think your number one running back this offseason is going to be Allgeier. I think that he is explosive enough and yet physical enough. I think he runs the ball very, very well. And really, there's not a lot of competition. Like, sure, Damian Williams, as a veteran, but never really a true starter. And Kadri Allison has been an incredibly disappointing player during his time with the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, just never actually getting any sort of significant playing time, barely making it on the football field the first couple of seasons. I think this guy, Tyler Allgeier, is really going to go ahead and come into his own and be the lead back Atlanta has looked for a while. Now, the question is, will he be a 1,000-yard back? And I don't know if he's going to be a 1,000-yard back. I don't know if Atlanta has a 1,000-yard back, but he might get close, and that's a lot better than Atlanta has had the past couple of seasons. They haven't had no running backs, really, the past couple of years. What do you guys think? Does Atlanta have a 1,000-yard back in them in 2022? Like, a 1,000-yard back it's getting harder and harder to do in the NFL with running back by committee. If you think Atlanta has one, let me know down below right now. Okay, let's keep going. OTA winners. I'm a big Desmond Ridder guy, but Marcus Mariota, I think, is a very clear offseason training activity winner, and really just an offseason winner in general. I expect Marcus Mariota to win the job. Now, I like Desmond Ridder, as I said just a couple of seconds ago, and I think he's going to eventually be the heir apparent to the Falcons' throne. I think he's going to, take the job over at some point this year, but I think this offseason belongs to Marcus Mariota. I think his connection with Arthur Smith, his knowledge of this offense, and I think it's just a veteran ability to be calm under pressure, and the learning ability he had as a backup at Oakland and Las Vegas gives him a really good shot to win this job. I think he's going to look the part. I think that Ridder's going to have his struggles, especially in camp, and they will go with Mariota at least for week one, and at least until they start losing a bunch of games. And they might lose a bunch of games just due to the fact the roster's not that good, not necessarily because Mariota stinks. And there you go, you insert Ridder and start the Ridder era. But I do think that right now, Marcus Mariota is in line to win this job. I think he's having a good offseason. I'm excited to see what he can do in this, let's just say, interesting offense. Let's go ahead and get to our final OTA winners. Quick run back through the top 5 we have right now as OTAs began a couple of days ago. Troy Andersen, the linebacker, with Deion Jones officially out for the offseason with the shoulder surgery. Jaylinn Hawkins, the young safety. Tyler Allgeier, the young running back, drafted the later rounds of the April draft. Marcus Mariota, looking good to be the starter, at least for the foreseeable future. We'll see how Ridder comes along. And finally, number 1, it's obvious, Drake London. Drake London is obviously a winner this offseason. He is for sure wide receiver 1. And he looks great, by the way. I mean, everything that we've heard out of OTAs is that he looks the part and that he's big and he's physical and he makes great catches and the catch radius is really good. But I think he's a winner just due to the fact that this wide receiver depth chart is pretty beat. It doesn't have a lot on there. I mean, sure, they traded for Edwards and they re-signed Zacchaeus and they have Bird and Tate and Allison, or Geronimo Allison, excuse me. I just don't see anybody here competing for the number 1 spot. And I think it's very clearly going to go ahead and be Drake London's spot to lose. I think that right now, he is in line for a bunch of targets, a bunch of touches, and if he performs well, a lot of Falcon fans are going to fall in love with this guy very, very quickly. Now, Bryan Edwards is interesting. Obviously, traded for him from the Raiders. I think he's your number 2 as of right now, but he's in this kind of, cluster of receivers battling it out for number 2 and number 3 spot with Allison and Bird and Tate Zacchaeus, Allison, Bird, and Tate. I think Edwards is interesting, but I think right now, big winner for sure is going to go ahead and be Drake London. Now, which player gained the most from OTAs? Obviously, just kind of started, so kind of a hard question to answer. But which player gained the most from OTAs? Let me know down below right now. Quickly, we'll list the guys I think they're kind of losers. Obviously, Deion Jones, massive loser today because he's going to miss a lot of time on the football field. Is he going to get cut? Is he going to get traded? Who knows? But his time in Atlanta is very clearly going to be done, and I think he's trying to force his way out of the ATL. No surprise there. I don't know if Ritter's a massive loser. He'll make the list here just because I think Mariota's going to win the job, but I think Ritter shouldn't look at it as winner or loser. I think he should look at it as develop, right? Develop to be a good quarterback, because sometimes these young quarterbacks, they try too much to win the job right away, and then they're just not set up for success. You think Sam Darnold, and then it ruins their entire career. Just focus on getting better and figuring out this offense. Figure out how to be an NFL quarterback, and I think Mariota will help him along, but Mariota is clearly the winner right now at quarterback. And Richie Grant, I just don't know if Grant's going to be able to get on the football field. And if he doesn't, then he's going to go down as a massive bust. A second-round draft pick should be on the football field as quickly as possible. Obviously, injuries were an issue. The depth chart was weird last year. I think he's going to be able to have a chance, but I think Hawkins is ahead of him right now in terms of the coach's favorite, and Grant has a long way to go to make up for that. All right, ultimately today on our Atlanta Falcons news and review video, mailbag video later on this week, so I'll be sure to be a subscriber. Use the hashtag Falcons down below in the comment section to be a part of that, and follow me on Twitter at Thomas Mott as well. For Atlanta Falcons today, Thomas Mott signing off. Enjoy the rest of your day.